What is up? It's X Priest, man, and we are back for another show. What up, fellas?
Yo, what's up? This is Soul Acoustic, and I'm over here at Soul Palace. How's everybody doing today?
Yo, and it's Broke. I'm doing great, and I'm over here at Picasso Studios.
Nice. I like that, Picasso. What happened to the swamp, man? What happened?
Oh, I got out of there, man. It was getting too hot, too smelly. Needed a nicer place. Moved to a place that is named after art now, so we're at Picasso Studios.
I heard that. I heard that. So, what's been up for the week, guys? It's been a crazy gaming extravaganza.
Oh, yeah. I mean, so crazy we had to make an extra show in the middle of the week.
Yeah. Hopefully you guys got a chance to peep that and listen to that, because we're going to talk about a few things on top of that from there as well. So
yeah, we're gonna do a deep dive on that, because that was just our first impressions of Stadia. Let me get that right, or whatever it sounds like, some type of drug you hear on TV.
Stadia.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, so we'll definitely take a deeper look into that whole thing, whatever. It'll be interesting. But for the week, guys, what's been going on?
Nothing much. Just been I got back up on my streaming game. So I started streaming again. I streamed twice last week. Probably gonna do something similar this week coming up, doing some streaming. And just making music. That's about it. Getting ready. I got some exciting things in the works.
Yes, you do.
That I can't really talk about. So I'm just kind of playing the hurry up and wait right now game.
Got it. So give your streaming info.
Yeah. Well, I can't right now because I just changed the name of everything and I forgot.
On that.
So I gotta. I didn't change the name. I actually have one of my good friends helping me out. She's a big streamer in the community, so she's like helping me get all set up and stuff. But so she set everything up for me. As far as like changing my name and changing all my stuff and everything. So I'm just waiting. I have to take a look at it again. But as soon as I have the information again, I'm kind of doing like a whole rebranding with all of my social media. Because like I said, I wanted to match.
Even your IG?
Even my IG, everything. I'm going to change like the name of everything because, like I said, this exciting news coming up could be pretty big. So I need to have it all matched.
Yeah, you got to be ready to catch as much of that as possible.
Right, exactly. So, so I can't give out my streaming stuff right now. Sorry.
Yeah, I've been seeing you. Let's see. I think what was it? Tuesday was when I first saw you.
Yeah, Tuesday and Thursday.
I'm usually at work. I get a little heads up on my phone. I'm usually driving, so what I do is I just hit play on the stream, and then I keep driving, and I treat it like a podcast. I just listen to what you're doing. But it's still pretty cool. You know, every once in a while you'll play something I know, or you'll interact with the guys, and they introduce a song that not only you haven't heard, but I haven't heard either. Like that Post Malone song actually caught me off guard. I was like, wow, that's pretty legit.
Right? Yeah, that's what I was saying.
It's a good song.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah, and I think I did last stream. I did kind of like a little throwback Thursday kind of thing.
I remember that too. You were really getting into that Craig David song.
yeah, that was.
You're like, we need to talk about these lyrics, man.
Yeah, we did. I did a lyrical breakdown of a Craig David song on stream.
That's funny. That's cool though.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, Broke.
Cool stuff like that.
So what you been up to, Broke?
Creeping on Soul.
Okay. Well, dang, I don't know.
Just working, man. Like it's been busy as heck. Like they keep telling us that it's gonna get better, and that now that we've shifted around some of the work, they're gonna rebalance stuff. But we're just all busy. You know, working 10 to 12 hour days. That was the majority of my days. But with a little bit of free time that I do get, I've just been working on myself, making sure that everything in the house is set. I'm still trying to stay fit, and then the next goal right now is me and my girlfriend. We've been talking about getting it together for a 5K. We don't know which one we're gonna do, but I'm already there. You know, like I usually run about a 5K every Friday when I get off of work, just to kind of wrap up the whole work week and just forget about that mess. But she's still working up to it. So when she gets there, we're gonna go do one. I think it'd be fun to do like a mud run or something, because that was really my first cool 5K that I ever did.
Yeah, Soul did a mud run.
Yeah, I did that 5K mud run.
It's cool. They happen all over the place, depending on what time of the year it is. But the one that I did was for suicide awareness, and it was pretty cool because I've lost some friends to suicide, and I just know how it is. So it was cool to be able to support that and also improve myself, because I thought that I was going to get smoked by most of those runners, but it's a big mix, and I actually was in like the top 10%, so I felt pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Great cause for sure. Not even a question. Also, I've been having fun all week. Got into another car accident.
Oh yeah,
yeah, man. I was stopped. Just chilling, listening to a podcast, and next thing I know, bam,
magnets on your car,
hit
man.
from behind.
Ka-chow.
Just the girl wasn't.
That's usually what happens. You get into one accident, and then another one comes right around the corner.
I was like,
that car's got bad karma on it, man. You need to go burn some incense in that car or something. Get rid of the ghosts.
Something, man. Honda Civic. It's new. I mean, they've been tagging it, man. They've been tagging it. So that has to go in the shop. Luckily, turns out she might have insurance, but she probably has insurance. I'm hoping she has insurance. And you guys, come on out there, get insurance. You got to have your registration for the DMV to have insurance. Get insurance. Everybody else got to have it. Come on. Just get comp and collision, $35 or something. I don't know. But I'm glad I got full coverage. Nationwide has definitely been on my side.
Oh, straight up, man.
But yeah, so I got some calls from her insurance companies because she had two, but the one, I guess she had canceled the policy and switched over. So luckily, I'm thinking that she might actually have it. So it'll all work out, hopefully.
Well, fingers crossed, man. Fingers crossed.
I'm tired of paying $500 deductibles for other people's hitting me. I'm gonna go hit some people. No. Yeah. But yeah, so that's been what's going on here or whatever. Well, we'll go ahead and play our social media. I have not had time actually to get into the new bumper scene, but I will this next coming week or whatever.
Oh yeah, I have some stuff. I forgot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so dude, you gotta put it out there.
I gotta send it over.
I told Soul to send me some bumpers. Since he's up and
running. Man, yeah. Sorry, I'll send some stuff over. Okay, I have some stuff I was working on.
Yeah, so we'll be hearing some new bumpers from Soul next week, and then Broke Gamer will get his game back up. I'll get my game back up, and it'll be
usually I produce bumpers as needed. It's just whenever you're like, all right, we need new bumpers, and I'm like, all right, let me sit down and put something together.
Yeah, no, we need new bumpers anyways. We need new full social media bumpers that have all the information. So Broke, you did a good job last time, but you didn't include certain phone numbers and all that stuff, which you'll find at the end of the show, and you'll find on our Twitter at EtherGamerRadio or our Instagram. That's just EtherGamerRadio, our IG. But yeah, so in our Facebook fan page, obviously EtherGamerRadio, all that good stuff. But yeah, so let's go ahead and play our small social media spot, and we'll be back.
Yo, it's Broke Gamer. Make sure to check us out on social media. It's Ether Gamer Radio on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Give us a like, follow, and don't forget to say hi. We'll always try to get back to you. Peace.
Okay, it's time to get into it. So what have you been playing? We have to make the announcement because they might not know.
Wow.
Oh, I'm playing Anthem. No, I just no. I actually just I caved and I picked up the Division 2. I have a really good story about picking it up. So I no. I was able to get the Division 2 for $2.63.
And why was that?
And I'll tell you why. Because I have Metro and Madden that I traded into GameStop because Metro
jumped off of Metro.
Yeah, you need to start renting Madden because you get rid of Madden every year. You buy it. Well, you may skip a year every now and then, but you need to just rent that or go with two homies and you guys purchase it together. That way you can hand it off.
No, the Metro. So let me explain why I got rid of Metro because. Okay, so Metro, it's a gorgeous game, but like I had said in the previous podcast, I believe I was like, "Yo, the game is kind of sucks. Like playing it, it's not super fun."
But you also got on me, be like, "Priest, yours locked up," but I didn't have any issues.
Well, I didn't have any issues. Mine never locked up and shut off like that. But I was saying the game, like playing the game, the actual control, it just wasn't fun. It just it was not fun at all. And then so I went to go play it, right? And so I log in. I'm like, all right, cool. I take 2 steps forward and the game locks up. And I'm
Trash.
like, oh, great. So I was like, okay. So I turn it on, turn it back on. 2 steps forward, game locks up again. I'm like, okay. So it's like a bug that I like apparently saved over. So then I log in. So instead of taking the 2 steps forward, I press start and it says, oh, you can do your last load from 30 minutes ago. So I'm like, okay, what the heck is that? So I was like, well, maybe it'll get me out of this bug. So let me try it. I do the last load from 30 minutes ago and it takes me straight to the main screen talking about let's start a new game. I was like, nope.
Oh, it just put you back at the beginning.
Yeah, it erased all my save data and took me straight to the beginning of the game saying let's start a new game. So I was like, nah, this is going to GameStop. Good luck.
So you couldn't wait for a patch for them to fix it.
No, this is going right to GameStop. So because I didn't even really like enjoy playing through what I played through already. So I was like, no, I'm not going to play through it again.
I'm enjoying it because it's just it's better than Fallout. It looks amazing, but
no, it's not better than Fallout. It looks better than Fallout.
No,
but it's not better.
The mechanics in Fallout are not that great.
Mechanics in Fallout are better than the mechanics in Metro.
Pretty solid mechanics, but I haven't played Metro, so I wouldn't know.
Metro is trash when it comes to the mechanics. It's absolute booty garbage.
So is the most talk up something, then trash it later, or say he's not going to do something and then do it later.
I always said the mechanics weren't good. I didn't talk the game up. I talked the graphics up. Yeah. The graphics are gorgeous.
Oh yeah.
But it's like you're just sitting there looking at a pretty picture. You can't really play the game.
No, it has an old school feel to the mechanics of the game for sure.
Booty garbage. So anyway, so then, so I traded in Metro and Madden. And then he was like, hey, we have a used copy of Division 2. Do you want to get that? I was like, yeah, sure. So that saved me $5. And then I also have the GameStop Elite Pro membership.
He's an Elite member.
And that saved me another something
10% or something off. Yeah,
you get I think it's like 20% when you have the that's pretty Pro good. Or whatever. So then it was the total was coming out to $7, and I was like, wait a minute, didn't I said, wait a minute, didn't I reserve Anthem here? Oh yeah, I did. All right, get that $5 on there, and so that's how I paid.
They were holding that for you, homie.
Yeah, they hold that for me. Yeah,
they were like,
that's my $5.
He's like, GameStop's like, let me hold $5.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny about all of that is that you did it just like I do it with consoles. It's the minute that it's time for me to get a new console, I start looking for every game that I don't need, and I start coming up with ways to make my stuff just pay off for the thing. So I have to pay either half or less than what its actual value
I don't have a job right now, and I haven't made any money. So
come over to the cheap side, man. Turns out indie games are real cheap.
$2.63, and I was playing Division 2 that night.
Good times.
And so with that being said, Division 2 it's pretty good. I can't lie, it's definitely like more of the same, like with the Division 1, like I had said it was in the beta. But it looks like they fixed a lot of stuff from the beta. Like it's not as bad as it was when I was playing it then. It's fun. It's definitely fun to play. They give you a lot of loot, and that's always nice because you're like, oh, dang, I got this now, and I got this, and I got that. So you're like, it kind of just keeps you going. It keeps you moving forward and progressing. The only thing I would say is like the story's kind of whack. I mean, there's not really a story.
It's all over the place.
Yeah, so I just kind of like don't really. I don't know. I'm not really paying attention to the story, but it's a fun game though. It's definitely fun.
Well, that's a bummer to hear because the story was a big part of it for me in the first game. So to hear that,
I don't know, bro. The story was the same. It's pretty much milled out, and
it's kind of like this. The story I think broke. Like you can get into it if you wanted to. It's that kind of thing. Like you can listen to like all the little tape recordings.
Yeah, because I went through all of that.
Yeah, you can really immerse yourself in it if you want to. But like it's so like I'm so. With the type of game that it is, I'm so done with trying to force story on myself with the game. I'm like, I don't really care. If you're not going to grab me, I'm not going to grab on, basically. So.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, but that's what I was worried about, is that if the story's not going to be that good, I'm probably just going to skip over this one, because I remember that earlier today, Priest was telling me to get my copy to get on the game, and I was like, backlog time, man.
Okay.
This is the season of the backlog.
Now let me talk. Based upon I've been playing the game, based upon I'm level 30, and based upon I actually have been following the story. If you play it in certain sectors with certain settlements, it actually tells the story per that area. If you're playing it every willy-nilly and wild, yes, you're not going to follow the story as much. And if you want to play it like Soul is playing it, it's fine. What they allow you to do is to go into another subscreen that plays each video and each audio tape with each sector, so that way you can stick with the story and follow it, because there's a colonel on there and he is ruthless. There is the story. I love the story. It gets me going with helping out different areas and different people and looking for, take down the colonel, because he's just so freaking ruthless, and it's crazy. So I'm actually the opposite of Soul. I actually love the story because I've been following the whole, the whole thing.
Well, I have a question about that. Are you following? Because that's the other thing about this game, is it doesn't give you any direction. It's just like, yo, you got your gun, go,
Well, that's, but Soul, if I drop you off in Washington, D.C. and there was however many settlements.
I understand, but you could at least kind of give me an idea of, okay, this is how you follow the main story if you want to follow, you know what I mean? So that's what I'm asking you right now, is like, are you following it based off of like just doing each main mission? Because what I've been doing is I go to one area, I clear out everything in that area. So all the side missions, all the SHS packages, everything, before I move on to the next area. And I don't know if I was thinking this yesterday. I was like, man, I wonder if I'm doing this wrong, because like I'm not getting really any story. So I wonder if I should be doing like
you have to find.
Main mission.
It's not about just doing the mission or side missions. The settlements will send you on certain side missions or whatever, and they'll go to building up the settlement and all that stuff. But also there's things you have to locate and find. So it's basically about opening everything, and not so much as going to the, because again, I understand how we play games a lot of times or whatever. We want to build up our character as fast as possible and do.
Well, that's not what I'm doing though. I'm going through, because honestly, if I was wanting to build up my character as fast as possible, I'd probably just be doing all the main missions and the side missions in the area. But I'm like actually actively looking for stuff.
Yeah, no, it's. I mean, are you finding the communications, meaning the phone calls?
I'm finding the phone calls and all of that stuff, the echo things, and all of that. But I don't know, it's just not really grabbing me. So
yeah, I'm not sure, but I love it. And again, I'm following the characters, following the ones to take down. As far as, just to piss me off and what they did to actually, the people, and how they just, the colonel's talking to this one doctor, and he's like, I'm moving my men up out of here, period, or whatever. We're going to shut this whole thing down. Actually, no, they weren't letting people out. And she was all like, no, we need help. We need to bring more supplies, whatever. You need to follow the directive and whatever, blah, blah. That fool pulled out his gun and shot her in the head. Bam. She was done. And he is just ruthless as his brother. And he's ruthless as hell. But now I'm fighting the Black Tusk. That's a whole nother set of problems. Man, they got this mechanical dog with freaking cannon on his back, and he just prowls around. Wow. I mean, it's crazy ridiculous.
How do they have all this technology?
There's a lot of you should know. You sent me the video to watch last night. That shows they would have all this technology if it went down.
Another thing right there.
Yeah,
I'll send it to you, bro.
All right.
Yeah. It's you want to let the people know what it is? We're not in
Yeah, I guess it's just kind of a sidebar, but the show is on Netflix and it is called Unacknowledged. Please go watch that
documentary.
If you are please go watch it.
Yeah, just go watch it. We ain't gonna tell you what it's about. Just go watch it.
Yeah, go watch it.
Yeah, there's a lot of technology that the government has that we're not privy to. And also this is it's like what was the name of that small little subgroup military that we used to go into Afghanistan and Iraq. I forgot their name.
Shoot! Yeah, I remember what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah. What was it called?
Yeah, it was Blackwater.
It was Blackwater.
Yeah, that's what it was.
So
there's more than one, but Blackwater is the one that most people know.
Yeah,
about.
so that's what this group is that comes in afterwards.
Yeah, they're what is it? Private special ops.
Yes, exactly. So it goes down and it's off the chain. And
so at level 30, you're still fighting new things and like doing tell us about the end game. A little bit.
Well, the end game is amazing because they come in with freaking gear. They come in just run roughshod. They want to take Washington. They want to, they want to seize their moment to basically take over the country, and then all the key points or whatever and all that. And their gear is amazing. They're freaking pretty advanced or whatever. But we were able to hold our own, even though we weren't suited and booted, with the highest gear and all that stuff, whatever. Did a 4-man team to run the first mission, and freaking loot drops like crazy. I don't want to tell you guys what the story is. All I'm going to tell you is
no, but there's more story and everything.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
more to look forward to.
Yeah, a whole set of different people to take down, whole set of particular groups or named individuals that you have to find and locate that are more ruthless, that are in the actual game itself. So there's a lot going on. But so, like I said, when you want to sit down and follow the story, you can do it in the sub menu, in the settings or whatever. I forgot the freaking screens or whatever, so many games or whatever. But you can follow each section or whatever and play each audio clip from that section. So it's not pertaining to, different, just random things or whatever. It's per, if I pull up this screen or whatever about this settlement, it'll play the audio clips, dealing with just that. It'll play the video clips in its correct order and all that stuff or whatever. But
for sure. Well, I'll definitely do that and go back and try to give it a chance. That's another thing too about the Division. There is so much to do.
Oh yeah, there is a lot.
And there's so much there's so much you got to kind of get a hold of. Like I'm only level 8 right now, and I feel like there's a lot. It's a lot to the game, which is not a bad thing.
And I would just want to say to the people, just from my side, I never said the Division wouldn't have all this, because I did say it. I said the Division had issues along with Anthem, the same type of bugs or whatever, that I was going to play both titles. And I knew Ubisoft would do what they do. And again, the game looks gorgeous, but it's even going to get better because that's what Ubisoft does. Because if you put in the Division 1 now, even though there's nobody there, it looks fucking amazing. And it's solid. It doesn't even have a lot of pop-ins in the Division 1. And I don't get that so much or whatever, even with the Division 2 anymore, because I guess, if I'm playing the same game, a lot of the textures are already loaded in the screen with the way the Xbox has instant, well, no, actually it resets. I take that back, because you are loading into a server or whatever, so it does reset.
I think it's a little different.
Yeah, but I still don't have a lot of the issues that I had or whatever with the texture loading that initially playing the game. And it's so funny, as you get deeper in the game, it just looks better and better. But yeah, the content is there, the drops are there, the story, what you do, the mechanics, the weapons. There are so many different weapons that you can use. Your ultimate weapon, which is either you can choose from a crossbow, a grenade launcher, or a sniper. And you totally take on those attributes, whatever, that go into your actual other armament. So there's a lot to do. So the Anthem needs to.
I do want to say though, from my end, I still am waiting for the new patch for Anthem, and I apologize.
No, we're not. Oh no.
Yeah,
I still love Anthem.
I'm like, Anthem, goddammit.
Hang on before you go broke, because me and Soul were playing Anthem this week, and we
oh my god, I forgot about this.
Soul thought I was doing a quick play.
Well, because this is how it got confusing, because like I was doing a stronghold already, and then Priest popped on. He was like, yo, what are you doing? Let's squad up or whatever. And I was like, all right, cool, I'll just leave these guys and let's go. And so he didn't know which stronghold I was doing, and then I didn't know what he was doing, and so I'll let you tell it from here, Priest.
So basically I kind of sent him a what is it,
like the squad invite?
It's a squad invite, but somehow it actually pulled him out of his game, which has never happened before.
And just threw him into your game?
Yeah, it threw us both into one together, but it was
together. It wasn't even like he hit launch or I hit launch. Like it pulled me from my stronghold onto his squad into what he's about to explain.
Yeah, which was, we went to the final boss fight or whatever. It's a stronghold.
The monitor.
Yeah, the monitor. And we were just like shooting him, playing, you know, we had to kill him or whatever through, I think there's 3 different sequences or whatever that you have to follow him through.
Yeah, through all the different elemental damages that he can do.
Yeah, exactly. And then so after that, Soul's like, hey, were we in quick play? Did you do a quick play stronghold? I'm like, no. And
well, wait, before you get to that, let's explain what happened to me. So
he was getting his cakes.
So for some reason, when we first came into this,
he looked
fight
very
with the
noobish.
monster, yeah, I was just getting whooped. It was just like I had never got
popped you in getting smacked.
Yeah, I had never got beat.
I have heard
so
about
much.
That.
Like I literally was just getting hit by one fireball down, or whatever, you know. And I'm like, what's going on, right? So then they keep just getting me up, and everybody probably just thinks I suck. And I'm like, this is fantastic, you know. And so then we get to the final round, you know, the lightning round or whatever. And I stay up for most of the fight, but I'm still going down quite a bit. And then right at the end, when he does like his super like wave and stuff, where all the waves come and lightnings drop and everything, I go down. But they ended up besting him, and I'm down still. They didn't get me up, and I had like 3 masterworks sitting in the middle. And and so they come to try to pick me up after they collect their masterwork, and it was like 1, 2, 3, back to the loading screen.
Yeah,
like,
exactly, which never happens.
And then I was like, all right, cool. Well, and Priest's like, don't worry, I'm sure you'll get your masterworks and so on and so forth. Nope, I didn't get nothing.
That has happened to me before, and it's so depressing. It's the whenever the masterworks drop and you get zooped out before you can grab them, or whenever you're doing the Scar Temple and the wall gets in the way, like what happened to me with you guys.
Yeah.
And then I had to reload the game back in, and it shows the drops, and I'm on the side where the drops are, and then I walk over them, and I'm just walking through them like I'm some kind of ghost. I can't pick up my drops anymore after you load back in.
Yeah. And so, and then we go, then we're like, now I was asking Priest, like, what were you doing? Like quick play or something? Is that why we just ended up right there at that boss fight? Like, what's going on? He was like, no, I didn't do nothing. He's like, he thought that we were doing my stronghold. I was like, no, I didn't, I wasn't even doing this stronghold.
Just because you accepted Priest's invite, it just pulled you into what he was doing because there was room.
No, I wasn't in.
No, he wasn't even doing anything.
Okay. So both of you got just put into a random quick play one.
Yeah. Basically.
What the heck?
So then we were like, all right, well, let's do it again, because Priest was saying that you get the most chances to get a legendary from the monitor boss. So I'm like, yeah, let's try it again then. So then we go in, and it starts us again right at the spot. Fight with the monitor.
We do it 3 times. We do it 3 times.
Yeah, we did it 3 times, and then
3 times it dropped you right there.
Yeah, all 3 times it dropped us right there, and then we're doing the fight, right? And on Grandmaster 2, this is a long fight.
Yeah,
it's a long fight. So we're sitting there fighting.
That's the highest I'll go. I won't even mess with Grandmaster 3 because Grandmaster 2 does this thing where it's like the jump between 1 and 2 is so pronounced that like during 1 I'm like, yeah, I'm a badass, I'm rocking it, and then you go to 2 and you're like, oh, I actually got to try now.
Yeah, exactly. And so with Grandmaster 2, it's a long fight. So we're sitting there fighting, doing the fight, so on and so forth. And we all wiped, and I'm like, oh man, that sucks, because it brings you all the way back to the beginning. And so then we
do that fight again.
Crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. And then that time when I fought him the second time, I wasn't going down as much. I was like, see, I knew something was going on the first time.
Well, do you guys have this weird glitch happen where when you look up at your armor, it's like 3 times the amount that it should be, and then it goes back to like being like a quarter of what it is?
I talked about that one.
Yeah, they talked about that on the last live stream, or not the last one, but the one before that. They talked about that, and it basically it's a glitch with the UI. Your health is not changing; it's just a glitch with the way that
it just looks really weird. Or when you spawn in without a shield, whenever you're everybody except for the Colossus.
That's funny.
So, yeah, it's weird to me that those glitches are still going on because it just makes me feel like this game is still not clicked together. Like, I want to do the Valor challenges. But
but you gotta understand, anything that's happening as far as what they're doing right now, it's on server side. As far as any fixes, the new patch doesn't come out until next week or whatever. So we don't know what's going on. Like, are these just new random glitches with them, adjusting things on the server side, or
some of these things feel like old ones?
Yeah, well, no, we didn't have the issue with the strongholds and dropping at the end. The end.
No. That's a new one. I'm talking about the quick play ones. That's what I was leading up to. Is that I'm trying to get my Path of Valor, completed, and you have to do so many quick plays, but like 1 in 10 will actually work. The other ones, it ends up putting you in a weird spot, or the game ends up glitching out in the middle of a quest. Like a lot of weird stuff happens when you go quick play.
No, I did. Not just saying that or whatever. Before that. Before me and Soul started playing, I was doing quick plays to get my quick plays up. I probably did maybe 7 or 6 quick plays in a row. Didn't have any issues.
That's magic, because I maybe like out of 7, I got 2 that actually were right. The rest of them, it was like the quest wouldn't load right. I'd be fighting some enemies, and then the enemies would disappear, and then it like the voice prompts wouldn't happen. I'd just be sitting there waiting, and it'd be like, protect the information from Scar agents. And I'm like, okay, here I am looking for it. Where is it? There's no marker, no nothing. And then I'd leave the area, and it would put a magnifying glass over the area. So I'd go back, and then it would be back to where I was, just nothing.
That's cold-blooded.
Yeah. So stuff like that's still happening. It's just kind of like I'm losing interest in the game because of that, but I know that they're working to fix it. So I'm thinking that it might be a Pokemon Go situation where it's like it's going to be a long while before everything's nice and tight.
Dang. So Brooke might leave Anthem.
Not leave, just put it on ice and just work on my backlog. No, like I said, I don't really want to buy any new games.
Yeah, no, I've
worked through those.
Yeah, I said that too. I was like, you know what, you guys, I'm not coming back to Anthem until the 1.0.4 patch comes out. But then I was up late, and I was like, you know what, let me make a Spider-Man javelin. So I made a Spider-Man javelin.
I saw you sent that.
Yeah, so you guys can check that out at Ether Gamer Radio or at my Twitter. It's pretty badass. But then after I did that or whatever, I started playing, got right back into it. It's a freaking fun game.
Yeah, it's a ton of fun.
Too many issues.
It's just the issues that are kind of making it less fun for me. And that's the thing, is that if they're going to require you to grind so much and do it, over and over again, they got to make it so that it's smooth. Because if you're in a grinding session and every 3 or 4 things that you do, there's some massive glitch that totally just makes it impossible to beat the level, it kind of sucks.
Okay. So, Broke, is that it for you? What you've been playing, or what's up?
Well, I've had a little bit of time. So, I've been getting my legendaries done, just trying to, now since I'm not really getting legendary gear, I've just been getting masterwork gear, and I've been getting a lot of the same stuff, like the terrible ones that you get across all of the different
thermal cooling.
Yeah, like stuff like the thermal cooling, or like the more ammo ones, like the specialty ammo ones. Like I'm trying to get the specialized ones.
Yeah.
And so I've just been switching through all of my characters and just making sure that they're at masterwork level. So nice. I've gotten my Interceptor, and I've gotten my Storm there, and I'm working on my Colossus right now, and then I'll do the Ranger last. But that's the grind right now, and then I'm hoping for a random legendary here or there, but nothing since the one for the Storm that dropped for me like 2 weeks ago. So I've been pretty dry on legendaries. But 2 things about the game. They did make that rifle that I was talking about a little bit more powerful. It feels like it deals more damage. At Grandmaster 1, it was struggling to deal as much damage as I thought it could have been. Like I had masterwork weapons that were doing more damage.
Yeah.
But now it's actually like one-shotting, like the scrubs and doing a sizable amount of damage to everybody that's not.
Oh, okay, that's cool. That's something good, positive.
And then the second thing, it's not on Anthem actually. It's just what I've been playing on the side. I've really been digging back into indie games. I've got a lot to talk about. I sent some videos earlier today and at the beginning of the week about things that I've been seeing from the Nintendo side. But what I've been playing on the Xbox indie wise is actually Celeste. It's something about that game that's really easy to just jump in. Play for maybe 15 to 20 minutes. So yesterday I got some time in while I was waiting for this soup that I was making to finish cooking. Yeah. So I was like, well, soup's got to sit. So I just went upstairs, turned on Celeste, maybe played for like 20 minutes, and then went back downstairs and finished what I was doing. But it's a fun game. It definitely makes use of all of your platforming skills that you develop growing up. So all the stuff that you learn from like the Mario games.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful game. It has great sound. It really does make you work for your wins, but it doesn't punish you too much. Like if you die, it just puts you at the beginning of the level. It doesn't like send you back down to the bottom of a tower or something. So it's a fun game to anybody who hasn't tried it yet. It's free on Xbox, I think still. And if it's not that expensive. And it won Indie Game of the Year at the Video Game Awards last year. So, give it a shot. It's a pretty cool game.
Cool. Nice. All right, so that's it for your what you've been playing?
Yep.
Okay, well let's get right into it. Here we go.
Ether Round Table. Let's
go. Okay. So I want to let's just stay on Anthem real quick, just so we can get this out of the way. Again, we love the game. We're hoping that Ben Irving and his crew and everybody he's the lead producer of Anthem, gets their ducks in a row, gets their shit in order, the whole 9 yards. Because to me, the fans like ourselves or whatever that were championing this game and sticking up for it the whole time, it's even getting much for us as far as just the bugs, the promises, the changes, all things that are going on with Anthem right now. And the biggest thing is it's the Elysium caches. They were actually supposed to have, they're saying they're supposed to have 100 vanity items that consist of armor, that consist of vinyls, decals,
stuff emotes, to make your customizables look more impressive.
Yeah,
to open up that library.
Exactly. And I've heard that on multiple. I watch all their live streams. I follow all of them on Twitter as far as what they say, when they say it, how they say it. And they were definitely supposed to throw armor, because one thing about playing the Division, it's not about getting the clothes in Division for me anyways. Some people like that, they got to get suited and booted and, the gold chains and the whole 9 yards. But there's a lot of,
right?
Yeah, there's a lot of, there's 6 pieces to the armor, not including the clothes, that you can do. That stuff drops like candy. And it's all different as far as things hanging off of it, the detail of what it represents and how it looks and how you want your character to look. And again, I've made, like I said, Spider-Man, and we've all made different various characters and all that stuff. But for the same part, the armor, there's only I think probably a total right now of 6 or 7 sets.
There's 2 sets or 3 sets per javelin.
Yeah, there's the one that you can buy yourself right off of the forge, and then the cycling ones. And they just released the Scar one last week.
I think there's 3 additional cycling ones that I haven't purchased or whatever. But
I haven't seen those ones yet.
Yeah, they're the ones that were in the 3-day loop, and all that or whatever, along with the gear.
It's the if I remember correctly, it's the Guardian, the Shrike, the one that I don't know what it's called, but it's the Colossus one that looks like a bubble.
Yeah,
Dreadnought.
Yeah, Dreadnought.
And the one you got for the $79 purchase or whatever, we got another.
The Legion of Dawn armor.
Yeah. There's that one, and then obviously there's the I forgot what it is for the other guys, but I know that when I was playing the Storm, there's the Banshee one that you can put together.
Yeah, so there's, like I said, there's about 5 or 6 sets. And 1, it's not enough. 2, it's too costly. 3, I still don't even know how to get the triangle purple shards, to even buy armor. I don't even know where you get that from.
I thought you're supposed to. Those are the money ones, aren't they?
Those are the ones you purchase.
You put your real money in, and then you get that, because they were saying that they've made a bunch of digital revenue off the game, and I'm guessing it's people just putting cash into the game and buying the armor sets outright.
That's crazy.
But I mean, what did you expect? People do that for all of the games now.
Well, no. They do, but also there's a gang of armor and a gang of equipment to buy. In here, it's not been that much.
There's not a whole lot of variety.
Yeah, not at all. I mean, not at all. And that's what this game is about. It's not about just chasing weapons that again are similar or whatever, which, I do like the legendary ones. I like some of the masterworks on how they look and the design of the weapons. A lot that they need to fix in this game. And, they just have to, put focus in on where they want to be. And that was my whole thing on, you guys, in saying that, instead of following their own vision of what they had, they backtracked and then tried to do what everybody wanted them to do. And they're like, oh, we got to change all this now. And that's never good, because basically you're designing a game on the fly while it's already out and making changes that you never thought, you would do. And now you have to compensate for all the things that come in with that, as far as changing the masterworks, people wanting luck taken out. There are just so many different things that are going on with this game, whatever. But let me read Ben Irving's tweet. He says here, my bad here. I read the question as, when can we earn vanity in Anthem, as opposed to when can we earn armor? there are no armor packs in the Elysium caches, but there are a lot of very cool vinyls arriving, also with animations that have victory poses and emotes, and more details coming. And then also, I guess their fix to this, or, you know, to quell the storm that's coming, they're going to give supposedly 2 free armor sets to everyone when patch 1.0.4 comes out. So,
I'm into that.
Yeah. So, but they also should be gear, you know, in the world armor that you can actually get. You know?
Yeah, they need to add more sets of armor that you can go and get through challenges and so on and so on. I mean, I just don't understand. That's the most basic thing.
So far there's just the one that you get from doing the Valor quest.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's a vinyl. It isn't even armor.
It's not even armor. Yeah, I was just gonna say it's a vinyl.
Okay, so, well, let's get off Anthem. Let's move, because our show's been going like really long. So yeah, so let's move on to the next topic. And I think there's a lot going on.
PlayStation 5, right?
Well, no, not necessarily. Let's kind of stay with Stadia since it was a follow up or whatever. Let's just follow that, and then we'll go into PlayStation 5, since Stadia is the one that put Sony's business out there about how powerful or how not powerful their console won't be.
Seriously, they called them out.
Exactly,
They
didn't bring up their new current coming you know, system. They brought up 5-year-old system, comparing it to some new technology that they have. But anyways, Stadia. So as we know, and as we've heard, and I'm pretty sure you out there who are hardcore gamers have been following, you know, Stadia is not living up to all that
Stadia
it was
is
to
whack.
be. That they were running on the show floor. They were running the new id game. Doom. What's the name? What's the actual name?
Doom Eternal.
Yeah, there you go. And it was not living up to snuff. It was it had frame drops. It had the latency was like 130 some odd milliseconds, whatever, in latency. It had artifacting. And again, they were trying, I don't know if they were trying to do a real world environment to where you know, their service wasn't that great or something, to, you know, what you might, you know, end up having at home, or just playing with your friends, or playing it while somebody else in another room is streaming something totally different, music or video. But yeah, people and journalists were not impressed with it, the bottom line. And again, this wasn't even in 4K. So it's going to be interesting to see, you know, how this really comes out. Is this a on live, you know, next gen type service? And will people really be wanting this service? Because you know, it's Broke, you've been saying it the most or whatever, and I've been shouting you down, as far as not really shouting you down about what your thoughts are about it, but about the technology is here, love it or leave it.
Well, real quick before Broke goes, I told you guys on the emergency podcast, I told you don't go rah-rah on this thing. No, and look, so what you
are so far off the beaten path that you're lost. No, it's not rah-rah. We're talking about new technology that is coming in the game space that eventually will be what everybody will go to.
It's exciting.
No, it actually
it's exciting stuff, but this one ain't it. It's not going to be it.
So it is it.
Okay.
It is it. You're just you're not seeing the forest from the trees, but I want Broke to go ahead and go, only because he's saying that it was not ready.
Yeah,
it's not.
Not that it won't be ready, not that it's coming.
To say every time, I will open with my cloud gaming disclaimer. I predicted that it would be the future.
Yes.
I didn't say when it would be. So they have given us a window into what could be a new gaming style platform. They have all of the things in place to make it work, but it's not up to par. It's not up to spec. There's a lot of questions, and the main one, at least that you've brought up, because that's the thing, is that I see a lot of people talking about the quality of the game and the delay and stuff like that, but a lot of the articles that Priest is sending us specifically have to do with data caps. So that's a big question that a lot of people are worried about, you know, and that's something that he's brought up since day one, is what are people going to do when they start using up all of their data, because they're streaming all of their games and they're streaming all of their music and they're streaming all of their videos. So that's the infrastructure isn't there yet, or at least the business structure isn't there in a way where it makes sense for us to only be streaming constantly. You know, the tap isn't always open. Like, there are companies that will close that tap after you've used enough of their water. So
that's true.
I again, I think that it is the future of gaming, but that for me, the caveat is the reliability of our internet. Because one thing that I tell people all the time is that the internet in other places, like in Japan or possibly in like England and stuff, is much better than what we're getting here. They, you know, their infrastructure for gigabit internet is already laid down, and it works much better than the weird patchwork networks that we have here because of all of the different companies that are trying to run things here.
Yeah, and did you guys know that Australia is pretty much still on dial-up in some places? Their technology is really bad as far as when it comes to the internet. So something like this, it doesn't even have a chance to work or whatever. And that's what we're saying. So we're not saying that this isn't the future, because gaming companies want this.
If you're misrepresenting my point. I'm not saying
your own point.
I'm not misrepresenting anything. I'm talking specifically about the Stadia.
Yes.
That's what I'm talking. I'm not talking about anything else. I'm not talking about this technology is not going to be the future of gaming.
But I'm not saying on the Stadia.
I'm saying the Stadia is trash. That's what I'm saying. The Stadia itself is,
that's a big word. Like, so you need to dial it back.
It's not gonna work as like exactly how they said it's gonna work. It's not gonna take off.
He called the Division 2 trash. He called Anthem trash. So all I'm saying is, dude, when you come with a hammer, you like wield it heavy and don't care who you hit. All I'm saying is the technology is
if
there.
I'm wrong, I go back and I apologize.
The technology is there and sound. It's about the internet. It's not about their technology.
Okay, I'm not talking about any of that. I understand what you guys are saying.
You're just saying that specifically the Stadia
to play it. No, I'm saying, are people going to buy this? Are people going to buy it?
There are people who are going to buy it. Like, that's the thing, is that if they get it sorted out and it works like it's supposed to, it's going to be something people are going to want, because the barrier to entry is a lot lower. You guys are thinking about it.
Okay, but there's
hardcore gamer standpoint.
You threw in 2 ifs before anybody buys anything. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but it isn't even out yet. They're saying that they're working on putting it out. It hasn't come out yet. That's the thing. It's not even in beta mode. It isn't being beta tested.
And also,
if anybody who has because you guys keep on trying to tell me what my point is. If anybody's going to do this right, it's going to be.
I'm not putting words in your mouth. Don't say
Xbox
that.
is going to be the ones to do it right. If anybody's going to do it right.
Let me break everything down.
A bold statement there. I'd like to talk about that.
Okay,
too.
everyone stop, because everybody's just talking over each other. Let me break this down like this, and you got to listen and pay attention. Stadia, for what the service has, it's actually very good. The technology that they're using is amazing, and it's top notch, and it's future.
But I'm saying, I never said it wasn't, though.
You actually said it was trash.
Yeah, I said it's okay. I said it. How do I say exactly what I'm trying to say? The technology itself is not trash. I'm not saying that. I'm saying what am I trying to say? I guess I'm just saying
the concept of the company that's going to be putting it out is
which pile do you want to put them in?
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. Say what you're gonna say.
What I'm saying, Soul, in this regard, their technology is sound. Their guidance of what they're doing and how they're doing it is sound. The internet is not there for them yet, for everyone, period. But that's not my point. My point is, in the technology that they're utilizing, it's the same problem that the Xbox Live had with, the Xbox One, with being connected to the internet and the whole process, whatever. It's not free. It's not unlimited data. You know, if those things were there, this would be the ultimate or whatever, because game companies don't have to print CDs. They can make the game however powerful they want to, and then let the servers or them scale it, and then throw it to everybody or whatever. And at $60 or whatever, they are making money. They would make money hand over fist, because trust me when I tell you this, at some point, whether it's 5 years or 10 years, game companies will be helping Xfinity, Google, Fiber. They will be helping these internet companies establish their internet and get it to where people aren't limited in data cap, because gaming is a $1 billion company. And if they can help them get the infrastructure set up correctly, it will just, this is the future of gaming, unfortunately.
All I'm going to say is, mark my words, a year from now, nobody's going to be playing Stadia.
All right. Words of Mark.
That's it. That's all I'm saying. Nobody wants this. If you look at, you're just talking about specifically about what the technology can do, how good it is, how it's the future, so on and so forth. And if you went through and looked through people's actual comments of what they think about the Stadia based on what they've seen, so, and in your interview, what did he say?
Well, I'm not getting Stadia. We're going to no
I'm
crap.
I'm telling you, nobody wants it.
Hey man, no future speak.
Exactly. You for one thing, who are you talking to? I'm the one who said I'm not into streaming games. I'm into actual hardware.
And that's what I'm saying.
But I'm not saying
that's all that I'm saying.
But I'm not saying the technology is not there. And that's a possibility. I said this might be an on live part 2, meaning it may not go anywhere because people don't want to be fed this particular style of food, which
will take off is the Xbox.
There's a reason why that will take off, and I will explain that to you because I'm not sure if you even care or even thinking about it. With the Xbox service, you will actually have a box. Okay. And that box will have CPUs and GPUs to help the stream, to make it more solid, whatever. That's why there will be called a streaming box, because if that's the case, they would never have to have put out another box. They can just tell you to stream on the Xbox One, on your pad, on this, that, and the other. They will give you the option to stream on these other devices, and you will have latency. You will have fractal breakup. You will have all that stuff or whatever. But when you go to stream it on your Xbox streaming box, you won't have those issues because of the CPU, the GPU, the power of the xCloud to back up all that stuff. That's why Microsoft is going this route. They're not just going a route to putting out the Anaconda and telling you to stream this xCloud from any other device or whatever, because if that's the case, why would they make a new CPU and GPU for a streaming box when you can do it on your Xbox One X or your Xbox S or your One? Because the technology that they're doing, it needs to have that buffer so you won't have these issues that Stadia is having. But the difference between Stadia, as far as having these issues, they're not using all the teraflops they could. They're not using multiple consoles running one stream to get it solid, because that's not where their problem is. Their problem is only in the internet. That is where their problem is. So that's what I do like about Xbox, and Xbox has a foothold with Gold, because what I believe that's going to happen is Gold is going to go free to everybody. This new service is what you're going to pay for the streaming cloud. Because again, everybody can play on the PC or whatever, play Xbox Gold multiplayer and all that stuff. They can play totally free. There's no issues there. But do you guys understand what I'm saying? So,
yep.
Yeah. So no. So I'm saying that's why the difference between Stadia streaming service and Xbox streaming service or whatever, that new unit, when it comes out, that's a streaming box, will buffer, however, to give you a constant stream, no breakdown. And it's not even, they don't even tell you right now it's giving you 4K. They're just saying 1080p, 60 frames. Actually, to be honest, Xbox is not saying what it's going to do, what it's going to be for their stream. But we know they're not concerned with you streaming 4K on your phone, because unless you have a Samsung, you ain't streaming 4K on no iOS device, let alone a tablet. So, I mean, so what? Broke thoughts.
Something you said a while back that just kind of got my wheels turning, that Google is going to help other people set up the infrastructure, because that's what the big debate is here, is that you guys are like, from what I'm hearing from Sol and from what I'm hearing from you, is specifically the specs and the company are a lot of the factors that are going to lend to whether this works or not. And something that I've always kind of like been worried about is just the infrastructure, which you guys have as well too. You brought the concerns up too. But do you think that this is the next step to push a gigabit, like Google gigabit across the United States, is to say that we have some kind of platform that requires it, and that will work into partnerships to help this work? Because they're going to do what everybody else is doing. They're not just going to be a gaming system. They're also going to be a video streaming system as well too. So they might form partnerships with anybody who is interested in spreading the reach of their ads, I guess, because that's basically why these TV companies exist, is they make their money by creating programming that they can slide ads into. That's where they're losing their revenue.
As we know, and as you said, or whatever, Blu-rays are going the way of the dodo bird. And so we will go into streaming, and we don't, you still get compression issues or whatever with actual video streaming in 4K and all that stuff. But I don't care what pushes that Google Fiber out. I'll take it, but I'm never going to be comfortable paying a full $60 title. And again, at some point, these titles are going to go up, homies. For the next generation or whatever, there has not been a price change for over 10 years, a full decade. So prices will go up in games, and I'm not buying a game I do not own a physical copy of. That's just not my thing. And that's
a completely different war, though, because I mean that's the same thing with people who collect movies versus who just have a movie collection.
Yeah, but I'm just letting you know from my point.
The next generation of people, because the thing is that I hear stories about people who have like 1,000 DVDs that they keep in boxes now because they thought that collecting DVDs was all that they needed out of life, and now that we've moved everything to digital, like, people won't buy those DVDs at full price. They'll buy them in bulk and maybe take the ones that they actually want.
And that's why you got to keep them. It's just like your titles, whatever. I got a bunch of titles sitting here forever, and they're probably worth $2. so I'm not tripping off of.
That's the mentalities is how much is all of that worth stuff to you physically. With me, it's as long as I have the rights and I can play it wherever I want, I'm not tripping.
And that's what matters, whatever, because the game that we've been crushing on lately is Anthem and The Division, and those games you cannot play offline. So, so we have a physical disc, but it really doesn't mean anything because if they close those servers, that's it. It's a wrap.
Yeah, not even that. I just have the actual, come on, Brainwork. I just have the download on my Xbox. I don't have a disc or anything. But that being said, I mean, who remembers the game Evolve?
Yeah, I do. Okay.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Guys who were working on Left 4 Dead put that game together, didn't do so hot. It looked really cool, but in general, it was kind of a hot mess.
Yeah.
And so they just shut down the servers to that game last week. And I don't know if you guys remember, but about 6 or 7 months ago, that game went free for everybody.
Yeah.
With the Xbox Pass. So the things that I've been hearing down the road with all of that online stuff is the same thing that Netflix does. Once they decide that it's not providing the views that they want, or it's not really yielding the results that they're looking for, they're just going to bury it. They're going to get rid of it.
Yeah,
and that's what happened with Evolve.
And this is the thing how
and they're probably going to get rid of the game from Game Pass as well too.
Yeah, this is the thing, and how like me and Soul, I'm going to put you in my camp, Soul, as far as you want to own the actual version of your copies or whatever, opposed to playing it on some type of Stadia type service. But check this out: would I have paid into a Stadia service to be able to play The Division and all of its titles as it goes on? And Anthem as it goes on, meaning The Division 1, 2, and 3, because again, I don't own anything really because I'm putting the disc in, but at the end of the day, it's on the servers or whatever. They cancel those, it's over. I can see paying into that type of service only because it doesn't matter if you own a physical copy, you don't really own the title. Like if you want to go offline and play the game and so on and so forth. So it's a lot of MMOs or whatever I can see.
Yeah, I was going to say that was what came up to me in my head when you mentioned that style of business model. Was like that's the racket that MMOs are running in my head. And I know the reason that it's so expensive, or at least that they make it seem they're so expensive, is because they're constantly working on it.
Because I'll never go back and play The Division 1. I put it in or whatever from time to time, but now that I'm on 2, I'm not going to go back and play it, but it's still a $60 title that I paid into. That's what I paid basically $120 to $140 for these titles or whatever. And what do I own?
Yeah. And that's I had a cousin ask me if I still played games, because that's how out of touch we were. Dang. And I was like, yeah, I love playing games. And they're like, oh, okay,
hit them up on the show. Homie. Wait. You gotta be like, no, you know what? How about I just give you this link to Ether Gamer Radio and you let me know.
Hold up, let me tell my story here before you start plugging Ether Gamer Radio into it. Because I did tell them that I do the podcast, but the thing is that they asked if I was into MMOs, and I was like, well, I have a weird past with MMOs, and the big deal with me is that I don't like having to pay, over and over for it. So like, well, you can, get into Final Fantasy 14. There's a standard edition. It's not that expensive. You can play. And I'm like, all right, I'll give it a shot. And so I boot up my computer, I get Steam going, I get ready to download the game, and then it's like, okay, it big bold word that says you must pay, a subscription to play this game. So on top of buying the actual game, you have to pay a monthly subscription. And it's like, I think it's like $20 a month or something.
Yeah.
Or you can buy like the pack for the year. And I'm like, no. That's everything against I believe in. You buy the game once, and if they give you more stuff, then you pay for it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you just avoid it. That's why I don't really get that much DLC unless like it's absolutely necessary to the story. And so, yeah, it's MMOs have been doing this since the beginning of MMOs, when they could figure out they could make people play over and over, pay over and over again. And I don't want to see games go to that. because I think that would drive me away from them. That would definitely make me an indie gamer at that point, because I'm okay with paying $20 for a game, because there are some indie games that I've put hours into and I'm still not done with.
Okay. Well, so, in his rage for Stadia, talked about the interviews, a little interview that I have, whatever, did at work, just to get, someone's, multiple opinions, but somebody who wanted to come on air and speak his opinion. So we're going to take a break, and then we'll play that at a break, and then we'll talk about it. All right. We'll be back. Okay, so Jacob, you are not going to get Stadia, but you're going to get what? You might get, if you had the choice between the two.
I would still prefer getting the NVIDIA Shield.
The NVIDIA Shield. And why would you prefer getting the NVIDIA Shield?
Because of its capabilities as the Plex box, a Plex server, and I'm not looking so much for streaming games online so much as streaming games from my computer to the other TVs in my house. I really don't care about streaming games online.
In 4K, all of its glory, 60 frames per second, a power of a high-end PC, that doesn't tickle your fancy?
The NVIDIA Shield can do that it's still 4K. And as long as my computer can handle 60 frames per second, if I'm streaming it over there, it'll still do that. Okay, here's a caveat to all this. You will have all the third-party titles that you have now on the standard Sony and Microsoft consoles on the Stadia, but you won't have that on the NVIDIA Shield. Does that matter? I'm looking at streaming the games I already got on my PC. I'm not looking at streaming games online.
Okay. And you think bandwidth will be an issue with the service or whatever as far as the data?
Well, yeah, I don't want to use up all my data.
All right. So, Soul, comments?
He said it. I mean, I don't know what it's basically it's hard for me to put into where I'm trying to explain.
Dark Lord.
Yeah, I just don't, like I said. I mean, I'm with him. I mean, I wouldn't get the NVIDIA Shield either. I'm not really into the whole like streaming stuff right now. As far as streaming games goes, it's not. It doesn't seem like it's quite there yet. It's getting closer and closer and closer as we're getting, more and more access, I guess, to technology, or more, more and more companies are getting in, like Google. I'm hearing there's a possibility that Amazon might be jumping in all of this as well.
Apple. It's already in the works.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. It just doesn't seem like it's all there yet. I agree with him as far as like the data. We've already talked about all that stuff, so yeah.
Okay. Well, I want to thank Jacob for coming on the show, do that small little interview. And I'm right with him as far as one, it's just something that I'm not into. And again, it could be my mindset of being old school, and like we talked about before, having something tangible that you think you really own, but you really don't own. Because again, I don't care what software you have. You can play it offline. If you can play it in your bathroom, you can play it on the road or whatever. You actually you only bought the rights to play it. You actually don't own anything or whatever. But it's just that they couldn't control you have to put it on your device and have it in your hand. That's the only thing. But if you look at your, the little fine print, you don't own any of that stuff. You can only play it. Bro.
Me. Well, first of all, I think that Jacob falls into the subset of people who they're not trying to get to buy the Stadia. I know it sounds kind of weird, but there is a target audience, and it's people who believe that the entry to gaming is too high, either with your Xbox or with your PlayStation, or even with the Switch, an above $300 cost to get into gaming, when the Stadia could cost half as much as that, according to you guys, or a quarter of that, according to me. And that's who they're looking for. It's people who want to get into gaming but don't want to put so much money on up front. Like there are people who are willing to pay over time, over a longer span of time than they are up front. And that's it. It sounds like Jacob has his setup. He's got his TV that he likes. He's got his put together PC that runs all the games like they're supposed to. And that is why the NVIDIA exists, or the Shield exists, because that connects your super powerful PC that you've taken a lot of money and time and turned into the gaming system that you want. So yeah, that's what I have to say about that, is that I'm not really worried about that market being tapped. It's already unlocked. PC has been notoriously difficult to cross into. It's who is not gaming right now that they want to get into gaming.
Yeah, because I'm going to tell it to you guys like this. Okay, one, the NVIDIA Shield is a cool device only because it does a plethora of things. And they made it that way so they could, check off different boxes or whatever and be bought by different people with different ideas. And it may get you into gaming, or it may get you into video streaming, or it may get you into, the audio portion of what they have to offer. But here's the thing. If power was the be all and end all of gaming, for the developers and for gamers, PCs would rule the world. They don't. So it's not, it's all about,
well, hold on. Pump your brakes there, man, because that's the sports car analogy waiting to happen right there. If hypercars were the end all be all to driving cars, they would rule the world. But not everybody can afford a hypercar.
But no, that doesn't matter. Everybody can afford an entry. Everybody has a PC, bro. So it's all about the tech. Yes, broke. I'm sorry. Most
I'm over
people,
here making faces at you.
And do you have a PC, bro?
I do, but that's because I put a bunch of money into putting it together.
But that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying most people have PCs. And if the game companies only cared about the power of how they wanted their game to look, and if most gamers, whether it be hardcore or gamers that want to get into gaming, said, I got to have the best of the best, they would do whatever they do. Because again, if you sit there and take tally, not you, Broke, but me or Soul, how much money we spent on games within the last year, it's enough for a mid-tier PC that we've spent on that.
It's a different,
probably more.
Yeah, exactly.
Financial economic assessment that you do, because you're looking at it over time when money is coming in.
Man,
as opposed
I'm trying to make a point. Have. Two, I'm not trying to argue that thing or whatever, especially coming from a person who had a high end PC and doing that whole card.
Oh yeah, that's the thing is that. So you know like what the cost is to put together something like that and how it's not for everybody.
Well, no, but see, all I'm saying is it's not all about power. That was the whole thing I'm saying. It's not all about power. It's not all about technology. It's not all about the latest and the greatest or whatever, for sure. It's all the things that are in between or whatever. And that, gaming companies see that, period. And the only reason why I got out of PC race or whatever, for me, that was so-called the master race, you changed your color like every 6 to 3 months, meaning no game developer ever took one particular graphic card and said, I'm going to make these games for this graphic card to its fullest fruition of what the capabilities of this card can do. That's not what happens. A card gets old in 3 months, but was never utilized, and we'll use the car analogy. I have a Porsche, but I take it on a kitty lap ride every week or whatever, and I never take it to a real track or a real street, meaning it never gets to utilize its fullest potential and fullest power, because they move on with technology or whatever, and they don't code for that particular card, and they just keep moving on. And actually, if you want to be honest about the whole thing, coding has gotten worse over time because you have more power. When you have more power, you don't have to code as tight. Your code can be, freaking janky and, allow a lot of bugs in or whatever, because the technology is so freaking vast. The RAM is so freaking strong and powerful or whatever. You don't have to code the coders aren't as great as they were back in the day. That's another thing.
Well, that argument is almost with any technology is as it gets more powerful, there's more room for mistakes. I mean, think about how photographs worked when you only had one shot at something versus being able to take 1,000 pictures and keep them all on your phone in one sitting.
Yeah.
But the point is that there are target markets, and I'm saying that the Stadia is not for people who have the high end, who have the end all be all. My point, using Jacob as a reference, is that of course he doesn't want the Stadia. It's not going to provide anything that he doesn't already have.
No, that's true. That's true. And using anybody in an interview, or as we're talking about Stadia, as Soul was even talking about Stadia. Here's the thing. I remember back in the day where people was like, no, I'm not buying an MP3 or I'm not buying audio, whatever, without having a CD or whatever else. Now you just can't go buy one. I mean, it's very hard to even find CDs.
Yeah, it's more of a niche market. That's what I'm saying is that I'm just looking at this from the market demand and the future of how things are going to work out in terms of the businesses. And if everything's going to move to digital, it's not going to be a thing about people not wanting it. It's just how it's going to be provided. Remember,
exactly.
We are
and
the
that's
consumers.
What's going to,
they are the providers.
Yeah, and that's, to me, that's what's going to take place. You know, whether it's be 10 years off, and because I do, like I told you before, we've had this debate many a time, but I told you it was at least 10 years off for this stuff to really take hold, for people to not, you know, care about this one way or the other. And from the looks of it, because again, Stadia is the best example of what it can do. And again, without not with hardware, it's totally separate from Microsoft, whatever, what the xCloud is doing to me personally, because again, they would not offer a streaming box. If that was the case, they would do exactly what Stadia is doing and only tell you to play it on these other devices. And here's the Anaconda. They're not doing that. And actually, they're having a streaming box come out this year to even get ready for that or whatever, because there's a million. They would just drop the prices of the S, the One. They give the One away for $50 and tell you to go play it on the One. But for whatever reason, and however they're getting into their, you know, what they're doing, they need actual a unit to achieve this ultimate looking level of what
people
they want
need
to do.
their Fortnite boxes.
I guess you call it a Fortnite box. But all right. Well, also, well, let's switch over a little bit and get into Phil's you know, response to Stadia, which is we're bringing all nukes on at E3 in June. We are launching all photon torpedoes at Stadia. He actually did not back down. He wasn't like, you know, him and Sony talking to where, oh yeah, what they showed was pretty great or whatever, but then we had this too. No, he made he check out his tweet because I don't have it pulled up, but he talked to his employees and said, we're coming for them. Like on, you know, at E3 or whatever, we're going to show you what we have, and it's amazing, and it's going to, you know, freaking, you know, just wipe out Stadia, or basically it's not going to be something that will take hold as far as Microsoft is concerned. Any thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, they have to say something. Everybody's jumping ahead of them.
You can say something without being that powerful. You can make a statement and be like, oh, you know, because again, it was Phil Harris, and Phil Harris actually used to be with Microsoft. He was not, well, on last show I said with Sony. He used to be a Microsoft VP. That's running Stadia.
It's what I'm saying is that he has to say something because everybody is getting in front of him. We just had the Stadia announcement. I mean, GDC just happened. Nintendo is getting a bunch of really cool stuff coming their way this year. Like if you've looked, Nintendo's probably put out the most games that it's ever put out for the Switch this year, or at least announcements for the games that are coming. And then PlayStation's been keeping quiet, but they're going to have an event before E3. So basically it's just a reaffirmation of Xbox, just basically saying like, hey, we're still here.
I have a question. I have a question for you. Wait. No, I have a question for you, bro. So what are you saying by that? Are you saying like you don't think he has nothing in the tuck, or you think he's just saying something just to say something because people are in his face?
He's always had something, and he's saying it because people are in his face, not directly.
Okay, well, let me read the man's quote.
A lot of like splash over because the Stadia just came down so hard.
Let me read the man's quote, and you guys can do yourselves a little research and go back and look at Phil's responses to Sony at E3 or various companies, whatever. He's always been, you know, even when he said, you know, we allow, I forgot what it was. Oh, cross-play or whatever. He didn't go hard at Sony. He just said, we here allow this, that, and the other. He didn't go hard. What Phil Spencer's to Stadia's response, Google went big today. We will go big at E3. And then let me get his quote.
He's trying to return the spotlight. He's saying like, yeah, this is cool. Everybody's losing their shit right now, but don't forget about us. We got some shit coming too. Like that's what he's saying. That's all that I see it as. You know, don't forget about us, because that really does happen. The media cycle can wipe out in 2 days.
No, for sure. Not even a question, whatever. But again, he's been pretty much, you know, just that whole friendly responses, I should put it, or whatever. But to me, you know, it's
that,
not.
Yeah, like wasn't like an act of aggression or anything like that. They weren't talking trash. They're just being like, yeah, we got stuff too.
I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I think I'm curious to see what they've got. I think at E3 we'll get an idea of what his tweet meant. Basically, we'll get an idea of the impression. But I think I'm very interested to see what they got. I want to know what his definition of going big is as well. You know what I mean? So because
go ahead, Saul.
Oh no, go ahead.
I know. I finally got his what he said or whatever he says. But I want to get back to us, meaning Microsoft's company. He's talking to his employees. There has been a really good work to get us in the position that we are poised to compete with 2 billion gamers across the planet. Google went big today, and we have a couple of months until E3 when we will go big. We have to stay agile and continue to build our customer service centers, and we have content, community, cloud teams, and strategizing. We've been saying for a while we will be the next big thing in xCloud gaming. So the bottom line is, again, he when he's talking about other companies, whatever, he's usually, like, we would like to do this and we would like to do that or whatever. But I think they're more because they're a software company also. Sony is not. Sony is pretty much a gaming company, electronics, whatever, so on and so forth. But Google is a direct competitor to Microsoft overall.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they pull out at E3 and whether something's going to be available this year or how they're going to do it. You know what I mean? Because obviously we know the Stadia is coming in 2019 at some point. So it'll be interesting.
So also, the whole Cuphead is now on the Switch. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's more of a continuation of the movement of Nintendo's partnership with Microsoft. It's like when you see two people who are like always hanging out, and you're like, "Are you dating?" And they're like, "No." And you're like, "But you're always doing stuff and posting pictures with each other online. Are you sure you're not dating?" No, we just like to hang out. Okay, cool.
I've been saying it, man.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Pretty soon you're going to have the Master Chief on the Switch trying to figure out what's going on.
I don't know if they would let that much go. That's the thing, is unless Nintendo is willing to let us have stuff on the Xbox.
I think the thing is Phil. I think Phil is like, he's so pro, like, what do I say? Like pro gamer. Like he's so pro, like, oh, I just want our content to be everywhere. So I don't think they would wouldn't mind letting it go.
But you think that they don't like, I feel like they're reaching out to Nintendo, but like, how's Nintendo scratching Microsoft's back? I feel like there's something happening that is not being put out there.
Did you really just say that?
Yeah.
Repeat what you just said. Repeat it. Repeat what you just said.
How is Nintendo scratching Microsoft's back? Because it feels like Nintendo is it's not allowing them. It's that they have a partnership, and Microsoft's like, look at all these goodies we've got, and then Nintendo's like, thank you, and then they're just like, okay, now you can have Mario on the Xbox. Like, where's that? That's what I'm waiting to see.
It's called the Switch user base, which is in the millions upon millions. So for them to put their Xbox Live app and their actual access to stream their games, whatever, which you have to pay for the service onto the Switch.
Yeah.
What are you serious? What foothold does Microsoft has been? Well, they don't have, but have been trying to get for the longest time. What country?
Japan.
And Nintendo Switch. Okay. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, but that's because like,
and another thing too, Brooke, you're not thinking about is like Xbox. They don't have any kind of like handheld. You can't really play the Xbox on the go in any form or fashion.
Put it in the bathroom.
They're working on it, but yeah, no, that's not a thing.
But but so I'm saying. So with the Switch, that's how you. That's another way.
That's the angle that they're taking. Is they're not taking.
We haven't covered GDC yet.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that I didn't even have time to look at all of the GDC stuff. I'm mainly going to approach it from an indie angle, because that's mostly where I feel like the love should be.
Yeah.
Because all of the big AAA stuff comes out at E3. All of the smaller stuff is more approached at GDC, mainly because they want to talk about the people who are behind the scenes, the people who are working at the innovations for the AAA games that eventually filter up. It's kind of like, like how the military makes a bunch of crazy stuff and then eventually it filters into, the populace. They're like the brass tacks versus, like what everybody can buy, off of your corner market. And so I've just been seeing, or what I said about the Switch, where they're getting a lot of indie games. I think it's becoming the go-to platform, and I think that's going to boost some life into the Switch if it already wasn't there. Because I mean, they've still got a few more games coming out that people are excited for, but in terms of indie titles, they're really like reaching the gamut. They're going back for some older games that were announced like last year or 2 years ago that have already come out, and they're also preparing for some new ones. And a lot of developers are excited because one of the big crossovers that Nintendo did that it never does was to allow this company that makes a game that I like playing called Crypt of the Necrodancer. I actually did a stream on it, and I talked about it on the show a few months ago. They're going to get a Zelda version. They're not considering it DLC that you just add to Crypt of the Necrodancer.
Yeah.
It's a standalone game for the Switch where it uses all of the mechanics, but it overlays, the world of Hyrule and the music of all of the Zelda games. And they've revealed that you get to be Link and Zelda in the game, and all that stuff is just like, it's great because it's a rhythm adventure, like looter dungeon kind of game, roguelike, and people are losing their shit because there's an indie developer that has the rights to one of the most powerful Nintendo IPs. It's Zelda. And they get to work on it. And so people are like, all right, well, what can we do? And the way that it's been explained is basically make a good indie product. And then if you just happen to meet them at a bar or something, they'll be like, hey, we like what you do. Would you want to sign up with us? Like you don't have to make a bunch of phone calls or try to get, here's our product, have a look at it, try to put it in front of them. They'll just notice. Because that's the thing, is that like the people at Nintendo appreciate like the quirky, fun nature of being an indie developer. You don't have all of the power, you don't have all the time, but you do have a lot of heart and passion. And one of the games that I actually shared with you guys was Katana Zero. That one's coming to the Switch, and that was one guy working on a game for 6 years, and it is super cool.
Yeah, that looks
that game looks pretty cool.
Yeah, dope music, dope aesthetic, dialogue choices that matter. And then the concept behind it is that you took a drug that lets you see into the future, and before every fight like situation or scenario that you get into, you're meditating on what you're going to do. And if you die in that meditation, it lets you rewind and try again. And you have a time limit because you can only go so far in the future with your meditation. So it adds all of these really cool, like neat things, and it visually looks gorgeous.
Hey, see, you're bolstering on why Phil should go ahead and make that marriage happen.
Oh yeah, like I'm not saying true. It's just, it feels weird. Like there's always the unquantified things about partnerships like this where you're like, all right, well, what else is it? Like there's got to be something else that's going to come down the road.
Broke. January 31st of 2019, Switch hit over 32 million sold.
Okay, well, so that's because
I would love to have my service
on their most important franchise ever.
I would love. No, that's not what I'm saying for it. I'm saying I would love to have my service on, as another game company on that, handheld device.
Fair enough. I will say that I have been seeing a lot more Switches in the wild whenever I'm just wandering and working. I go to a lot of clinics and stuff where there are people just sitting in the waiting rooms, and I will see a kid, or an adult just with a Switch in their lap, just doing whatever they're doing. And I'm like, all right, cool.
Nice. You should pass them one of our cards, man.
Oh yeah, because I'm going to be cross promoting while I'm also working for my company.
Hey, yeah, that's what you do. Work for yourself. But yeah, no. So yeah, no. There's some definitely great indie games coming out on the Switch, which are going to be amazing. And also, they've always had that that indie feel to Nintendo.
Yeah, it's a deep appreciation for the weird and the quirky, which is where kind of indie lives at.
2D sprite look. Yep. I love it, especially on a console like that. It just works.
Yeah, it's perfect for that because you don't need a whole lot of processing power. It just needs to be coded tight, like what you talked about. Exactly. Not a whole lot of power, but real good coding.
And indie companies that don't have a lot of money, that's what they do. They're hella good at coding and hella good at what they do, as far as, because they have to be. So some of them are doing multiple jobs, whatever, just to get their title out. So
well. Do you guys want to talk about the future of the PS5 and then wrap it up?
Yes, let's talk about a new direct from PlayStation. Go ahead and say what it is, because I don't want to look up anything on my Mac, because it might just bite me.
Yeah, so basically there's going to be kind of like essentially a Nintendo Direct, but Sony's doing a Direct. It's going to be coming on Monday. And it's going to be, I don't know exactly what they're going to be talking about on there. I'm guessing just the future of PlayStation, Sony, and what's going on. I believe it's Monday at 10. I'm trying to find. Here we go. So Sony revealing new PS4 games in State of Play live stream on a Monday. And I'm curious to see what PS4 games are going to be releasing, because that's kind of strange to do that right now. But it's going to be on March 25th. It's going to be 2 p.m. Eastern time. So it's going to be a live broadcast. Says here, as the industry evolves, Sony Interactive Entertainment continues to look for intuitive opportunities to engage the community. It's basically, the company said, explaining its decision to skip the annual trade show. PlayStation fans mean the world to us. We will always want to innovate, think different, and experiment with new ways to delight gamers. As a result, we've decided not to participate at E3 in 2019. We're exploring new and familiar ways to engage our community in 2019. Can't wait to share our plans with you. And it seems that State of Play is going to be a new and familiar way that Sony intends to engage with the PlayStation community. It hasn't detailed what games it will showcase. There are a number of big PlayStation titles currently on the way. Obviously, we've got Last of Us, Ghost of Tsushima, Dreams, Days Gone, and Death Stranding. So maybe we'll hear something about that. Maybe we'll hear something about PlayStation VR. Who knows? What do you guys think?
I think it's going to be more games.
Yeah, I definitely think it'll be more games. I think they will show probably Last of Us and the Ghost trailers or whatever. Hopefully they'll tell us whether or not these are PlayStation 5. And again, even if it's PlayStation 5 or Pro, it will be, well, I take that back. I was going to say that it will be on both, but if I were the makers of Last of Us and Ghost, what I would say to them is, we're going to make this game for the PlayStation 5, but it'll be playable at a lower version on the Pro, but it sure will not be playable on the PS4, because that's going to hamper how I want my game to run and look. If I have to make it for the 4, the Pro, and the 5, because a lot of game companies have been having those issues, while trying to make the software and cut things out and all this, whatever, for those type of going that far back. I know the One has been hampering a lot of games on the Microsoft side, opposed that the X can really handle and dish out. And so I am actually now hoping that they basically either don't show them, because if they don't show them at all and don't even run a trailer, then that tells me for sure that these are PlayStation 5 launch titles, and that they're going to be utilizing what we can, let's go ahead and talk about, which their specs are. They're looking at like 11 teraflops, if not
11.2 or something. 11.4.
Yeah, I don't have the specs in front of me.
Yeah, it'd be like 11.4 teraflops. Let me see. I'll get them pulled up.
Yeah, because
you think that'll be their standard or their professional model?
What do you mean?
Yeah, I think they're only going to have one model.
Yeah, they're only going to have
you
one
think
console.
So?
Yeah, they're not going to do Microsoft.
I feel like they might go for the dual model thing, just because it'll raise the prices up to be able to push that much out. 11 teraflops is a lot.
So it's going to be 11.6 or supposedly, allegedly 11.6 teraflops, closest to AMD Vega 64, NVIDIA GTX 2070. Zen 2 CPU clocked at 3.3 gigahertz.
Yeah, so if I'm making a game and I have access to 11 teraflops or even 10 teraflops, but then I have to, back compat it to 4 teraflops, that's an issue.
It's gonna look real bland.
Exactly. 16. Then my PS5 is doing 16 gigabytes of DDR 400 RAM. So that's why I'm kind of hoping, because again, they're gonna need some great launch titles, and why not? You know what I'm saying? Why not have these two along with, I keep saying, you will see Horizon Zero Dawn as a launch title or in that window for the PS5, which will sell a lot of units. I still haven't even finished the first one, but I got a lot of back games I need to get on.
Backlog.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But those are games that if I don't have the internet, or if I'm in a log cabin, as long as I have power, I can play them. That's cool.
That's true.
But yeah. So we're not sure what they're going to show. We're not sure if I don't think they're going to talk about the PS5 specs personally, because of the PlayStation Experience. Unless they say they're canceling the PlayStation Experience for this year, then they will either have another direct, because Nintendo does directs, I think, every 6 months or somewhere around there.
Yeah, it feels like they put them out at a pretty frequent basis, which is kind of a nice surprise, just to be minding my own business and then hear that Nintendo's got more news for us.
Exactly. So I don't know what we're gonna hear, because this is a first for Sony. They can have multiple directs, or they can have the PlayStation experience. But I know everybody wants to get ahead of the whole Stadia thing, so they could launch some photons, you know, in that way too, whatever. Because this is, you know, other than Microsoft, Sony is a direct hit to them, because their streaming service is terrible. And as Soul was saying, that people, you know, Soul went on that big old tangent you guys can listen to in the beginning. But guess what's still working right now? The stupid, lousy streaming service that Sony has, which is terrible. I mean, the stuff breaks up to where it's like digitally looks like a Andy Warhol painting. So and people still utilize that and pay into it. On how bad that service is. So yeah. So we'll see what they show. Anyone?
Yeah, I thought that was it.
The thing is that like I don't really have a whole lot to say about the PlayStation, because like
wait, we know why, because you're a PlayStation hater.
That's right, I'm a hater. No, it's because I just don't look in that direction.
Dang, bro.
But no, I'm not really worried about the PlayStation. Right now, it feels like the heat is on Stadia,
I'm leaving
Microsoft,
that gap
Nintendo.
too. For you guys, I'm leaving that gap in.
Leave it in
people
there.
Are like, what just happened?
Leave it in there. This is real recording now. This is me just being like, all right, let's try to dig something up. I got to feel something about the PlayStation.
The PlayStation's gonna be tight, man.
It's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, it'll be cool for
and
you
it's
guys,
gonna have the best games.
Bro, can I ask you a question though? Seriously.
I don't know why you made that noise. It was pretty gross.
Yeah, answer this seriously, bro. Okay, unbelievable graphics card comes out at $400. It's unbelievable.
Sure.
It does some great things. Okay, you still have to add other components to your great PC rig. Yours is not that great, you know, but it's still good. But
it runs everything on high, which is cool.
Instead of saying, you know what, I know the programmers aren't going to program to all this glory, and all the games aren't really here to run this pretty good, decent graphics card, because it's just decent. It's not two cards into one and all that stuff, whatever, for $1,000. It's just a $400 card. But when you can buy the PlayStation and all this new glory at 11 teraflops, games run solid, God of War looks freaking amazing, all the new games that come on this console will look amazing. You get the controller, whatever, it's supposed to have some I/O interface. I mean, some interface. Don't say I/O with Microsoft, but I/O as far as technology. And it's supposed to have the visual screens and all this stuff, whatever. All this glory comes with a controller, comes with a unit, comes with access to Dolby Digital, Dolby Atmos. Maybe, hopefully, it better have a freaking super drive in it, a 4K player. But anyways, it comes with all these things, other than just a card that you put into a PC board, and the games look amazing. You won't buy that for $400, but you'll buy a graphics card for $400.
You're creating a universe where only that graphics card exists and that PlayStation exists. We're living in a world where there's Xbox and there's Sony, and there's not Sony, there's Switch, and there's other PC.
Broke, you're dancing around it, Broke, and I'm gonna say
because I'm not dancing around it. Don't you put words in my mouth.
You have the Xbox, right?
I get the.
Do you have the Xbox?
I do have the Xbox. I do.
Did you buy a graphics card? Did you buy a graphics card?
I did.
But you already have the Xbox, right?
I did, but that was before I had the One X. That was when I had the regular One S, and I wanted to get a gaming PC so I could play League of Legends at a higher spec.
Okay,
I have games that I play that I can't play on the Xbox.
And also, but all I'm saying is, but that's where I was with the whole thing. Why buy the whole video card race when I can buy a console, and then I'm not going to have all the bugs that the PC has, and plus I'm going to have these games that aren't even available on the PC that look amazing.
Well, he bought a console. He bought the Xbox.
Yeah, it all depends.
I know. But that's why I'm just telling you why I own two
and the
consoles.
people that I want to play with aren't on the PlayStation. All of my friends are playing on the Xbox or the PC.
Broke,
like the Switch is more for me.
Broke, you can make new friends.
Oh yeah, but that's the thing is that I don't need to go make new friends. I got the ones that I need right here.
Partially, but it's true. Instead of when you think about that,
I couldn't imagine a world where I didn't play God of War though.
Exactly.
I don't know. There's certain games like that
is such a good
like God of War, Spider-Man,
Last of Us.
Those things.
You know what happened is I had access to that. There's a PlayStation like 20 feet from where I'm sitting right now. I could go downstairs and play PlayStation, but I don't think I've ever felt like I just wanted to sit in front of the PlayStation and start playing it. Like it's one of those things where it's like
you have a bias.
You're not
that's a personal hater's choice.
Because I sat down. Like
it's still a game.
To not play the Xbox or my PC, and I spent hours playing on the PlayStation.
He's a millennial.
Like,
we can't shame him. We can't shame him.
How is it unsatisfying? I don't understand.
In the same way that some people can't eat Jello because the texture weirds them out.
So then technically you have a bias against PlayStation for some reason. It's not the games. It's not that.
But the thing is that it does not bring me joy. So I throw it outside.
Hey, therapy. Let's get down to the.
I don't need PlayStation therapy, dude. I got Xbox.
No, you do,
bro. Didn't you watch my live stream of God of War and you thought, oh my God, that looks amazing.
It looks great. I'm allowed to watch TV. You know, stuff on TV looks great, right?
All I'm saying is, before you make that next graphic card purchase or whatever, think about getting a PlayStation 5. It's far off. It's 2020. You have enough time to save up.
That's the thing is that, like, if I'm in a place where I can have like the perfect entertainment system, then yeah, I'm gonna go for all of the consoles. But I feel like I'm gonna be buying less games on the PlayStation than I'm going to all the way across the ecosystem.
I actually feel like I think you would be disgusted to even have that even near your TV.
It's just like around the house. I'm like, what are you doing here? Put a paper bag on that. No thanks.
That concludes our show. It was fun. It was a long one. We are out. Peace.
Thanks for listening. For more information on the show, go to our website, ethergamerradio.com. You can always catch us on our Facebook fan page. You can hit us up on Twitter or our hosting site, Podbean. Hit us up on iTunes and drop us a review. It helps get the word out to other gamers, so spread the love. As always, we would love to hear from you. Hit us up on Ether Gamer Radio hotline, 916-877-5745. Until next time, stay gaming. Ether Gamer Radio.